Juilliard graduate, and when you left Juilliard, you kind of took a little time off, didn't you? You went to Europe and...
Well, it wasn't time off. I was working. I had a job touring with Black Nativity because I'd been here. I was taking class. I was working part-time. I was auditioning for everything in the world and auditioning more than once for the same show. I would audition as a singer, as a dancer, as an actor. I mean, and they kept calling me back for this, and it seemed I was getting pretty close to it, but I was getting impatient and anxious, and it just didn't happen. Then I got a phone call to do this European tour of Black Nativity with these two gospel groups, the Stars of Faith, and I can't remember the men's group. And I said, yes, okay, I'll take it. And that was an education in and of itself. That was wonderful. That was probably one of the best ways to see different countries, to perform in different countries, to know about them culturally. And I ended up staying in Paris for 3.5 years, where I also worked, but there was no such thing as the concert world at that time. So I did a lot of emissions at the television, and I was auditioning for a lot of film work and meeting directors I probably never would have met here, American directors. And it was really having this wonderful illusion actually of working, and I was even turning down jobs, the nerve of me, I didn't want to go to Finland to teach in the winter because it would be too dark and depressing, things like that. And I went to work with the company of Maurice Béjart, the ballet of the 20th century, and that was a delicious experience.
Well, I saw a picture of you at Lincoln Center Library.
Oh, you did?
Yes, years ago. When I was, that would be my little afternoon. I would go over there and reserve a film and watch something and do a little research. And I saw a picture of you in some kind of black leotard and cut-off tights, I think they were. It was with Béjart.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I got to go see that myself. Well, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed working there, and because it was what I was thought I would be accustomed to, working in a company, and it was the closest thing to a concert company. I mean, he was very forward thinking and wanting to do contemporary works. He was still, vocabulary was still very nostalgic for classical ballet, but nevertheless, his mind was forward going. His works were very illuminating in many ways, and I enjoyed being there. And then when I came back to New York, I ran into Alvin, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing," and that's how it happened, because I had missed 2 other times prior working with Alvin. It was all a matter of timing.
Ailey II came about. I know that this was a passion of Alvin Ailey. And how did the two of you get together and decide that you would do this?
Well, he invited me to do it. There was a young lady, Karina Rieger, who he had worked with many times on various projects as his assistant, and she had started it with him, but it was felt that it should be someone from within the company. She had been with the Harkness Company, and I had started a family at that point, and dancing was becoming difficult. I mean, the scheduling of, life was becoming complex and conflicting. And so he thought perhaps this might be something I would like to do, and I wouldn't have to travel so much. And it was a daunting for me at first, because I'd never thought of going in the direction of being a company director. I wanted to perform. I wanted my transition, I thought, would naturally be into acting. But I also felt a kinship and a responsibility to young artists who were, testing the waters. And so I said, yes, I'll do it. I'd like to do that. And at that time, it was a workshop. It wasn't a company. It was, but he felt it was very important for young artists to have those tools, the experience of learning repertory and working with choreographers and, knowing as much as possible about music and the stage and theater and lighting and costume design. He wanted them to have all of that. So.
Now, at that early point, what choreographers were you using? Were you using part of the rep, or were you starting to bring in people? Or?
Well, I was using part of the rep that had already been established. He had started working on his Ailey Celebrates Ellington project, which he had set on dancers in the second company. And then he invited the second company to be part of the Ellington Festival, and they got together a budget, and I invited choreographers like Donald McHale, no, I'm sorry, not Donnie, but Gus Solomons, Christine Lawson, who was head of the dance department at Cal Arts, Alvin McDuffie, if you remember him, a wonderful jazz teacher. Who else was there? Raymond Sawyer, and there was a fifth one whose name escapes me from. Then I invited Diane McIntyre, but there was another one. There was someone else too. So that was our little Ellington Festival, which we had at the Riverside Theater of the Riverside Church. After which Alvin had us do a couple of those works in his Ellington Festival at State Theater. He tucked it in matinees and in between the works the first company was doing.
That must have been a great experience.
It was a fantastic experience. Yeah, I remember we did Gus's Work 40 there, and we also did. We also performed games there at State Theater.
This is your last season.
Yes.
As artistic director of Ailey II, and you'll be moving into a whole other phase of Sylvia Warnes. You'll be working with college students and.
Well, I hope to do this program I did at Harvard in 2010, the Ailey Legacy, where it was class, technique class, important technique, repertory, Ailey repertory, and also a lecture series with materials. And so I'll be doing that at the university level. I'll be working with archives, annotating some of Mr. Ailey's notebooks, and also working, looking at videos, identifying people and things like that. And doing workshops and assisting in rehearsals. And
so you're going to stay very busy.
Yes. I mean, I cannot imagine not being somewhat busy, Maybe not at the same pace as I've been going, because, when I think about the number of times I've packed and unpacked a suitcase, it's just astounding. Since 1964, I've been traveling. So when people ask me, why now? What made you decide to stop now? And I keep saying, well, it was just time. It was just time. And like I said, you don't want to be a fixture somewhere, and you do feel you've given. Maybe you just don't have more to give. the way you want to. It's just time. 38 years, and it went very fast. It went very quickly. I mean, yeah, 38 years.
Transition is courage. It's a place you reach where you decide, well, it's time for me to take that next adventure, to have that next adventure.
Yeah. It's not to expire, it's to really, move to the next place. Judy says to rewire and all of those things. It's terrifying in a sense, but there's a certain excitement about that. What's around the corner, Well, you don't know until you turn that corner. So.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time out to talk to us before the season.
Thank you. Thank you.